Under the sunshine of a beautiful day in Chicago, the Royals look to wrap up their three-game set on the south side with one more win against the White Sox. The first 2 days have been fun to watch with the typical ingredients of Royals baseball on display. Great pitching, memorable defense, and big hits. The Royals are rolling, and they look to finish up a happy visit to Chicago with one more win. Welcome to Chicago, Illinois, and U.S. Cellular Field for the final game of this series between the Royals and the Chicago White Sox. Academy Sports and Outdoors presents Royals Baseball. Right stuff, low price, every day. Hi, everybody. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler with you. The Royals go for the sweep today, and they have been impressive in games 1 and 2. Todd Frazier, the Chicago White Sox leader, he even said, Kansas City's taking care of their business. We need to take care of ours. How about the Royals lately?
Just love the way they're playing, Fizz. They're a well-rounded team. They all know that, but now it's starting to click. They're getting their job done by getting the good pitching. That's been setting the tone. Timely hits, the defense, you talked about it, but the trimming the 4 games off the White Sox lead since last Saturday, that has been a beautiful thing, Fizz. Now, the goal is not to be in first place in May, that's for sure, but they want to not let those guys get too far ahead, stay within striking distance. There's a long way to go.
When we come back, Rex will talk about one of the guys who has been sparking this surge, Paulo Orlando. It's Orlando's story when we come back. For the Royals and White Sox, it's time to take a look at our Honda most trusted player, and that man is Paulo Orlando. Look what he's done recently. 10 hits his last 18 at-bats with 4 extra base hits, Hud.
He's been very trustworthy. His swing is perfect right now. We're going to show you 3 shots, a base hit up the middle, 1 to right, and the homer ball. Here's the whole thing. Now, that's off the end of the bat. Doesn't matter. His positioning's perfect. Back, elbow bent. He's got a great, nice path. His head's to the ball, his hips turning. Everything's right there. It's perfect. Okay, now he's just waiting longer. The only difference between this swing and that other one is he waits till the ball gets deeper towards the catcher's glove. Same swing, and he laces it to right. Now watch his front leg. He doesn't load up the hips like the other guys do. Little quick, simple pick up, set down, ball's coming in, eyes reacting to it, head position, pulls his hands in. He recognizes the cookie on the inner half. Hips turn, leverage off the front side, let her fly. Pilot to Bombardier. Nice stroke. Hope he stays that way.
Hard throwing right-hander Yordano Ventura gets the start for KC today. We'll have more Royals baseball after this. Champions against the first place team in the American League Central, the Royals versus the White Sox. The first pitch is next. Chicago, Illinois. Final game of this series. The White Sox hosting the Royals. KC has won the first two. Escobar will lead things off. Then Mike Moustakas. You see Salvador Perez, the designated hitter today, as Kendrys Morales will get his first day off.
And Paulo Orlando getting bumped to that 7 hole, hitting 450 off of lefties. Hope he stays hot.
And a lefty will be on the mound, and it is Carlos Rodon, one of the top young prospects in baseball, 23-year-old left-hander out of Holly Springs, North Carolina. Escobar goes after the first pitch, and Eaton chasing it and makes a nice sliding catch in foul territory.
Got to be ready on the first pitch, and Eaton was, obviously. Ball is just tailing away from him towards the line. He's tracking it. He knows exactly where he is. A little slide did not crash into the wall so badly. And ready to start the day with a nice catch for Rodon. Carlos Rodon. It's a young man. Good fastball. 92 to 96 miles an hour. 4-seam up top, 2-seam sink. Slider and a changeup. 3-pitch guy.
He has started 1-4 this year with a 4.73 ERA and 8 starts, but he has struck out 47 batters, Hud, in 45 2/3 innings.
Yeah, he's got a power fastball, and he'll use that. Believe me, sliders to both lefties and righties. Not a big depth to it, and he does not throw a curve. See the strikeouts there. Opponents are hitting 275. Righties are getting the best of it. Usually that's the case.
Moustakas pulls it to the right side. Sands has it, gives it to Rodon, covering, 2 out. How about Chicago's defense?
How about them? South Siders. We just showed you Eaton out there. Cabrera and left. Austin Jackson, all very good outfielders. Sands giving Abreu a break today, and Abreu's taking a chill pill on the pine. Frazier over third. Sanchez getting started shortstop. LAWRIE there at second. Alex Avila behind the plate. Look at Eaton. He's kind of still stretching out a little bit. He was tested on the first ball. And I hope he's all right.
Now Lorenzo Cain with a good series, 3 for 8. The big home run yesterday, and smacks this one foul.
Oh, that's belt high. That's right. Hitters go home at night after hitting the ball like that, and they dream about getting the ball right there. Now that one right there, that's not where you want it. Back leg slider. Almost buckled it. Matter of fact, it did. It's a back legger. He just missed his foot. That's a funky swing there by Locaine.
And it looks like Lorenzo may have wrenched his back the way he's stretching at home plate. You see the damage he's done in May after a quiet April, hitting .329 with 4 home runs this month.
Yeah, Locaine, you know, a pitcher's good when he can make you swing and miss that badly. You gotta throw that slider right there again. Why not?
Rodon has given up his share of home runs this year. 8 home runs in just 8 starts.
See how the righties got the power. They got the home run ability, 7. Lefties only with 1.
The Royals have 3 left-handers in their lineup with Moustakas, Hosmer, and Gordon.
Not too bad at numbers offensively against Southpaws, but 238 with 10 homers is the team overall. And they're 3-3 against left-handed starters this season.
Inside corner, strike 3 called. Rodon goes 1-2-3 with the Royals at the top of the first. He will lead things off for the Chicago White Sox. Jimmy Rollins will make his first start, and he'll hit second. Then Todd Frazier, one notable absence, as you talked about. Jose Abreu not in the lineup today. They just want to give him a mental break.
It's very nice of Robin Ventura to do that. I'm sure it didn't disappoint Drew Butera, who's catching Yordano Ventura. That guy's a beast.
And Ventura, he still has allowed the most walks in the major leagues with 29, but the good news is his command was very sharp in the last start against the Boston Red Sox. Only one walk in 5 2/3 innings.
Wants to keep it that way. Ventura's a three-pitch pitcher, a lot like his partner over there, Rodon. Fastball, curveball, changeup. Fastball's good. It's a pitch he'll use to set up those other pitches. Now, secondary pitches, curve and change, they're very effective, especially when he's commanding them. Makes his fastball look even better.
Too short. Escobar has been sterling in this series defensively, and he records the first out. Here's our Ford defense.
Defensively, there you go. Paulo Orlando in right, him or Dyson, it doesn't matter. They're both playing at a high level. Alex Gordon, Kane, Moose, Escobar, Infante, Hosmer, and Drew Butera. Gives Salvi a break, at least a half a day off, which is the hardest part of the job. Salvi's the DH. Locane patrolling here center field. Not as spacious as the K for sure. So it doesn't have as much room to roam, but he'll still get the job done out there.
The White Sox Rex are wearing their uniforms from the 1983 season. They have some interesting uniforms in the past, and of course this weekend they're celebrating the 25th anniversary of U.S. Cellular Field.
Yeah, it's a nice look. I like it.
Do you?
I do. I like the Red Sox. The Sox written across the chest like that. It's classic.
Our fans should also know you were a big fan of the short pants that the White Sox wore back in the 1970s.
Yeah, I like the baggy look.
Jimmy Rollins, a veteran, 37 years old, out of Oakland, California. Tyler Saladino got the start in the first 2 games of this series, and Jimmy, who had great success with the Philadelphia Phillies organization, helping them to a world championship.
No, he's a quality player. At his age, they're going to just work him in there gradually. He's not an everyday player anymore. Still productive. .231 home runs from a guy like with that size tells you he generates a lot of bat speed and can recognize his pitch, especially at this stage in his career. Lots of times hitters, as they age, they get a little bit more powerful because they're able to recognize their pitch. After seeing so many of them in your career.
Ventura with his 30th walk of the year. And he had Rollins down in the count.
I've seen some of that with Ventura when he'll get 0-2 on a hitter and then kind of toy around with him. He can't afford to do that. His pitch count will get up there.
Todd Frazier, who's been quiet in this series, 0 for 8 after hitting .361 with 5 home runs and 14 RBIs in the previous 10 games. And he smacks that one to left field.
Yeah, first pitch curveball. And the way that the Royals pitching has handled Frazier in the first 2 games, I'm surprised they're giving him anything soft. That just sped his bat up. It's not like he's looking for it, but once he recognized it, he says, I can hit that. Giordano better stay hard with that guy. Up in the strike zone. They want to get him hot. You know, I mentioned Butera getting the start today. He's caught Ventura only one other time this year, and it was against the Orioles, where Ventura went 7 innings and only gave up 1 run. Just see if he can get those mechanics all straightened out and do his best to get ahead.
It appears in the first 2 months of the season, when he has command issues, it's with his fastball rather than his off-speed stuff. Melky had a good swing at that pitch.
Melky 2 for 8 in his career against Ventura. Ventura doing all he can to get through this first inning without allowing a run. So far this year, he's got a 6.75 ERA in the first.
Foul, just barely. The crew chief, Jerry Lane, is the first base umpire today. Scott Barry is calling balls and strikes. Then you have Hunter Wendelstedt at second base and Gabe Morales at third. Jerry, an outstanding umpire.
He is. Just ask him. He'll tell you.
Down low. The Sox have really struggled with runners in scoring position against Kansas City. Still looking for their first and the only extra base hit was Melky Cabrera's double yesterday that just barely missed a home run.
Oh.
That's to second. This is good. And Escobar finishes the double play.
Put him in the lane. That'll work. Easy two-hop.
The first inning, and Joel Goldberg back by the Royals dugout. First game of the year for Salvador Perez to DH, and he said changes the routine up a little bit, guys, just in the sense that there's no batting cage by the clubhouse, so he will try to swing the bat in the clubhouse, run a little bit in the clubhouse just to try to stay warm. But he said he will stay away from Drew Butera, stay away from the pitcher unless they ask for his advice. Just focus on hitting today, a half day off. He says, I love to DH, guys.
Well, Joe, here is Eric Hosmer and then Salvador Perez, and Ned Yost told us before the ball game that he's giving Kendrys Morales more of a mental break than a physical break. Hosmer lines it sharply to center field. That's his first hit of this series, and it snaps an 0 for 13 slide he'd been in.
How about that? You know, the team's won the first two games here without Hos. with his bat. I mean, you know, that glove is trustworthy, and he carries that everywhere he goes. But that swing right there is a needed commodity in their lineup.
He did have that sacrifice fly in the first inning yesterday. That was a productive out. And now Salvador Perez with his 7-game hit streak.
Big hit for Haas, just hitting 156 off the southpaws this year, but he does have a couple homers off. 2 out of his 8.
And the Royals are swinging early on Carlos Rodon. Coming into the game off the first pitch, opponents were 9 for 18 with a couple of home runs.
I noticed last inning they were early hacking. Joel mentioned that Salvi been holding on to that bat. You know, as you're a DH, that's what you got. That's a well-used bat. It's got a lot of nice pine tar, and look at K-Mo's in the game.
He got him in the game. And look at that, a line drive base hit to right field.
Nice short and upswing. Didn't try to pull him now this time, but Salvi likes to jump yard. That ball's in the middle of the plate, and he had the approach mentally. That's what that tells me. He was set on going that way because that's a pitch he could have pulled. Oh, Salvi's on his way to a nice day, especially staying hot with K-Mo's bat.
He just gave that binoculars look to his dugout as Alex Gordon will dig in. Alex going through a 2 for 26.
Alex hitting 184 against lefties. He could pick that up a little. Or a lot. I'm sure he'd like to. Keeping that shoulder in is going to be the big thing. Have to break that slider away from him.
As we take a look at the Toyota League leaders, only Alfredo Simon of Cincinnati has a higher batting average with runners in scoring position in all of Major League Baseball than Rodon.
Like to see those numbers against the opponents for sure. Time to make it happen. There's the splits on Alex. Royals in the series been successful picking up those big hits. They're 6 for 14 with RISP, runners in scoring position. It's a big number. It tells you about the clutch hits they get.
Rodon stayed with the fastball and tried to go up and away from Alex.
He can have some issues with command, especially from the stretch. He's not really comfortable with runners out there, you know, jockeying around and distracting him. He's one of those guys that's easily distracted out there and takes his focus away.
Down low, and he was one of baseball's top picks. Chicago's first-round pick, 3rd overall out of North Carolina State in 2014. So he has made it to the big leagues quite soon.
Yeah, the last time I saw this kid pitch was last spring, I believe, against the Royals, and we televised the game, and he just blew everybody away. No one got a hit off him. All those strikeouts he had.
And that was really his first full professional season. You might remember he was ranked the nation's top prospect after his freshman year at North Carolina State. Brilliant season, 9-0 with a 1.57 ERA. Then as a sophomore, he took the Wolfpack to the College World Series for the first time since 1968. To the right side, 1 and 2. Hosmer at third.
I didn't want to roll over like that. Roll those hands over. That's why you want to stay inside of that ball and try to shoot that thing the other way. And you tried to pull it and you wrapped it right on top of it.
So now Rodon will face nothing but right-handers until Mike Moustakas. Paulo Orlando, who has been on fire. Yeah. He swings at the first pitch and bangs it up the middle. Hosmer to score, and the Royals take a 1-0 lead.
Don't even have time to talk about Paulo because he is in there and ready to hack. We talked about him, how perfect his swing has been in the beginning of the show. But you lock it, we're going to show it again. You're going to freeze it right there. Let it go a little bit further, guys. There you go, right there. Here it is. Excellent head position. Same twist and turn. Don't change a thing. Up that mark with runners in scoring position from 467 to who knows what, but it's a good number. He's a productive hitter.
And Infante follows with a sharp single to center field. So they are attacking Rodon, who's been very aggressive with that first pitch. The Royals are 16-4 when they score first in the ball game.
Really want to take it to Rodon. Get him early and often.
Yeah, during this down stretch for Chicago, everybody except Chris Sale has been struggling in their starting rotation. Now Drew Butera. He swings at the first pitch and bangs it foul.
You know, Rodon might have to start thinking about a secondary pitch for that first pitch now if they're timing him like that. Butera doing a fine job spelling Salvador Perez. He's hitting .308.
Yeah, usually the changeup is the equalizer with a left-handed pitcher against a right-handed batter, but Steve Stone, who's the Chicago broadcaster, was telling me everybody wants to compare him to Chris Sale, and he said that's unfair because Sale came up with a great changeup in the very beginning of his career, and that is something that Rodon is still working on. And they're 1-2.
Well, he's maturing as he's a young pitcher. He's trying to find out who he is by getting out there and facing big league hitters. You know, in his college career, he's facing guys that are not big leaguers.
And he was mainly a fastball slider guy at NC State.
I had a chance to meet him yesterday. I was down on their side over there by the tarp, sitting there watching him, and guess who he's playing catch with? Chris Sale. And I asked him, does Chris Sale help you? He goes, yeah, I'm not a pitcher like him, but all I wanted to do when I play catch with him is to see him throw his changeup to me, and I can see the rotation it has on it. And that's part of the evolution of a young player, getting tips from an older player.
Chris Sale in the last 10 games is darn near perfect. 2-0 with a 1 ERA, but everybody else 0-8 and a 5.4 ERA. The Royals, Dylan G and Danny Duffy, 4 and 5 starters, outdueled Jose Quintana and Miguel Gonzalez in the first 2 games of the series. The runners go, ground ball first. Sands will take care of it, but the Royals score with 2 out. Paulo Orlando singles to center, and he stays hot.
Yeah, keep him going.
his career in the Chicago White Sox organization has been impressive against his old ball club. Now hitting over 360. Arcia in the driver's seat. It's about the Royals and their pitching. Overall team ERA is down from 4.10 to 3.77 the last 8 games. And that bullpen has been flat brilliant with a 1.4 earned run average. And how about the pen in this series? 8 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. Ground ball third, backhanded. Moustakas, long throw. Got him.
There you go. That's a nice Moose play. Tough when the ball's not hit that hard to back up and catch it and then get some momentum on your throw. But Moose, it's like he's a quarterback in the pocket. Steps back, fires right over the top. Perfect strike. You're out.
And he got Sands by plenty. Mike was one of Southern California's top quarterbacks his sophomore and going into his junior season at his high school, and then decided to dedicate everything to baseball, even though his dad was a football player growing up. Well, here is LAWRIE. Royals have kept him in check. One ball, one strike.
LAWRIE came out early today and took some ground balls at second base before his team was even out there. Worked on his double play pivot. It's a young man here that's got plenty of energy to burn.
Center field, Kane there, and 2 quick outs. Carlos Sanchez getting his first start of this series. He's come on as a pinch hitter. 1 for 2 in this series as a pinch hitter. Against Ventura in his career, he's also 1 for 2. But he started the year at AAA. At 309 there.
He handles the bat pretty well. He'll bunt. Moose respecting that ability in on the grass. The third. A little bit to the opposite field in the outfield. Okay, Ventura. Good situation here. 0-2. Go right after him. Don't waste any pitches. There you go.
And he did go right after him. Got in a jam in that first inning, but the Royals defense bailed him out. Melky CABRERA hit into a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play.
And that was Ventura's 5th ground ball double play induced this year. Timely.
Swung on and missed, and he went right after him with the heat. Buries Carlos Sanchez getting his first strikeout of the day.
at Kauffman Stadium, but ooh, that looks pretty good. Royals up 1-0. Our University of Kansas Hospital injury report. Chris Young, Chris Medlin, Jason Vargas. Updates, guys, on all three. Chris Medlin threw back-to-back days for the first time. He threw Friday, then again on Saturday. Feels good. Probably a couple weeks away from a rehab assignment. Chris Young for his bullpen today. That went really well. Probably throws to live batting practice next week, so he's doing really well. And then Jason Vargas threw a 30-pitch bullpen today. They're starting to introduce breaking balls. Everything is on schedule, but Nick Kenny telling me that just remember this on Vargas. The surgery was August 4th. He's not going to come back in less than a year, but everything going well.
And here we have Escobar grounding out on the first pitch, and there's one down.
Yeah, Joel, I liked it, especially watching Vargas out there throw off the mound today. That was really special. And Vargas, in the meantime, keeping himself in tip-top shape. You could do a load of laundry on his abs, man. He's cut up. He's working.
Well, he is a guy who I think is ahead of schedule the way things are going with him. And we've watched him throw on the side, and he looks very smooth. And as Joel indicated, now the breaking ball is being introduced. Well, here's what's interesting, Hud. Kansas City swung at the first pitch 8 of the first 9 batters that came to the plate. And now Escobar and Moustakas have both taken the first pitch. So I'm guessing that Rodon has adjusted, and so have the Royals, because he's fallen behind. First Escobar 1-0, and now Moustakas 2-0.
He's not going to let those guys ambush him on the first pitch. They're going to start coming in with some different looks for him. You have to. Moose needs a base hit to left field to get everything working.
Chicago 3 infielders right side, 1 on the left.
Those base hits to the opposite field, they get you right for the pitch inside. Just like we've been talking about with Paulo Orlando. Getting base hits away, away, away. All of a sudden you recognize that pitch inside, and it seems to make you quicker. That's the first good swing we've seen from Moose in 2 days right there. Good hack. Took a rip. Full swing. Heater coming.
Inside, and the Royals walked for just the 3rd time in this series. They had 2 yesterday, none in their Friday night victory. And we want to remind you that the Royals are hosting an Oklahoma City Thunder night on Saturday, July 23rd versus the Rangers. If you're a fan of the Royals and Thunder, come out to the K for a night of big league action. Visit Royals.com/theme tickets to purchase a game ticket and receive this Royals themed Thunder baseball cap. Oklahoma City and the Golden State Warriors are tied at 1. Check swing foul.
First time up today. Rodon threw him a slider that just really wrenched his back. It didn't wrench it to where he can't play, but he kind of was grimacing a little bit. Really tied him up. He'll go back to that here probably. That or fastball away.
He may have to check in with Seth Greenberg, the Royals massage therapist, after the ball game to get that back issue worked out. Royals have a great staff. Towards right field. And that will drop in fair territory, and Moustakas will make it to second base. So a base hit for Lorenzo Cain.
He'll take it. That's a slash base hit there. first pitch, he had an abbreviated swing. He checked it foul, and there's one there. He's just trying to water that little garden out there.
I was waiting for you to say that because
Yeah. And that's a booty knock for Kane, because look, he lost his balance, backside fell out, and he's able to keep the head position right on the end of that bat on the outside part of the plate. He'll take it.
well, we told you how tough a time that Rodon has had with runners in scoring position. Perhaps from the stretch he is not making the quality pitches that he needs to make. The Royals, as you see our Kubota power stats, they have been hot. 201 average the first 25 games, the last 17 over 340. Orlando came through in the second inning with a runner in scoring position and knocked in Hosmer.
Haas hit 294 with a runner in scoring position.
In there, 1-1.
When we watch Hosmer and see that little right elbow kind of twitch a little bit, what that tells him is to keep his weight back, keep that shoulder tucked in. It's a little reminder. And then at times we'll see Hosmer's left leg do the same thing, go in towards the pitcher, and that's to remind him to stay on his backside. Hitters use those reminders all the time to make sure to help them mentally as they're ready to focus on that pitcher.
If he opens up too soon against a lefty, what happens?
And he pops the ball up. He doesn't have any power. He's lost his lower half, and all he has is arms and hands to swing.
In there, strike three call.
Use the slider and put it right where he wanted it. First good slider he's thrown today. Look for a strike.
Now Perez, who lined a single to right field his first time up. Goes after the first pitch and pops it up. Sands takes care of it. The Royals lead 2, and we head to the bottom of the third inning here in Chicago with Kansas City leading 1-0.
T-Mobile. Ichiro Suzuki. Wow, working his way towards 3,000 hits. How about this guy? Seems like he just got in the league. It goes fast. Had a 4-for-4 night last night, and he is really close to closing in on 3,000. And if he does, he'll become the first Japanese-born player in our Hall of Fame. Hope he can stay healthy. We'll see him later this summer as the Royals will go down to Miami and check out Ichiro.
46 shy of 3,000. You remember his first season in spring training, he hit about 260, and there were many scouts who said this guy won't be able to do it in the big leagues. Well, all he did in 2001 was win both the Rookie of the Year and the MVP. Ground ball right side, Infante. Did you see Ventura sprint over?
Because he thought Haas might go after that. He doesn't want to be late to first. Doesn't hurt to get over there. That's good. Left-handed hitter comes up. First baseman and catchers always remind the pitcher to get over. He was over there in plenty of time. An early count out for Ventura.
He has only thrown 25 pitches to get 7 outs.
It's working.
Rexy's had such a tough time with the first inning. That's why that Melky Cabrera at bat seemed to be awfully important in this game. 2 on, 1 out. Cabrera, who's been their hottest hitter in the series. 4-6-3 inning-ending double play.
Yeah, and it was brought on by a secondary pitch. So the curveball, changeup, those pitches have that downward movement, especially the changeup to lefties away. And so when they try to pull that, sometimes you just get the top half of the ball. One pitch, 2 outs.
Austin Jackson takes it low and away. 3-1.
Ventura, nice smooth delivery today. Looks very compact, confident. Ball's coming out of his head nicely. Let's go ahead 3-2. Challenge him again.
He did.
Yeah. BUTERA back there calling us pitches for him. You know, we talked about him. The only other time BUTERA caught him was against the Orioles. That was one of Ventura's best games. 7 innings, just 1 run allowed.
Way inside. That is ball 4. So second walk for Giordano. The one thing I do remember about that game is the fact that 2 times in the game BUTERA called time and got Ventura back on track. And you know, fans, this season at the K, the weekend starts early because every Thursday home game is Buck Night. Come enjoy Royals baseball while saving some hard-earned cash. Enjoy delicious hot dogs and peanuts for just $1 a piece. Get your tickets now for Thursday Buck Nights at the K by calling 800-6-ROYALS or online at royals.com/promotions. So many great deals, and we'll be back home after facing Minnesota Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then we'll host the White Sox starting Thursday through Sunday. So get your tickets for that big showdown. Jackson bluffed a move. Rex, I'm just wondering if Drew reminded him about Austin Jackson, because Jackson had a huge lead, didn't go, and I think Giordano may have forgotten about him.
Yeah, well, Giordano is not worried about base runners. He's got extremely quick feet, quick move over to first base.
And going after the pitch on a 2-0 count is Adam Eaton. He pops up to center field. And there's Lorenzo Cain for out number 2.
You know, Ventura, he's just allowed 3 steals and 8 attempts in his 404 1/3 career innings. So, look, that low percentage of steals, let him get his kind of jump you want. Don't worry about it. BUTERA's got a nice catching, throwing motion. He's thrown out 29% in his career. BUTERA's really good back there. Don't sweat the base stealer. And he only has one back this year anyway. Keep that focus on the hitter. The hitter's the one who hurts you.
Fastball missed badly to Jimmy Rollins. Rollins walked his first time up. This is game number 2,222 for Jimmy Rollins at shortstop, and that is tied for 6th in Major League history with Larry Bowa. To first, Hosmer has it, comes back to the bag. A nice, comfortable 3rd inning for Ventura. Royals take a 1-0 lead here in Chicago to the 4th. Brought to you by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search Steel. It's one of the boats they have on the river, and they have some really great tourist attractions. They've got an architecture exhibit that you can go through on the river here in Chicago. And we have had 3 magnificent days here in the Windy City. Rodon will face Gordon, Orlando Infante. Alex goes after the first pitch, fouls it off. Strike 2. Rodon's pitch efficiency not nearly as good as Ventura, even though Giordano has walked a couple. He's already thrown 53 pitches. Down the left field line, but foul.
It's a good try. Alex is trying to go that way. Lost his bat. Get the one with a hit. There you go. Get that one. You don't want I want the one with the blue wrapping. It's the right idea on that particular pitch. Like the approach. All the swings he's taken in this at bat are to left field. Not trying to spin off the ball. When you spin off the ball, you're asking for trouble, especially against the lefty that has a good slider.
Just past the mound, covered by the shortstop Sanchez, and he throws out Alex.
Paulo Orlando's been swinging a hot bat, especially with runners in scoring position, and we asked him why.
Sometimes try to hit ball opposite field, and that's got go out front and the breaking ball. So that's I think a lot of times, So sometimes they throw like fastball down the middle, I take it, but be work, be work on the pitch select. So we got to put the wind swing on.
His mechanics have been flawless. And there's nobody on. Just pretend like there is somebody on. Oh. Let's take a look at his last at bat, though. He knocked in the only run. Right back up the middle. So he tried the same thing, but Rodon got to it.
Twelve of the first 16 Royal batters have swung at Rodon's first pitch. The Royals do have 5 hits in the 1 run. Now Infante up with 2 out, nobody on. Omar had that big double in the Friday 6th inning. Started the Royals rally.
That double, that was his first extra base hit since April 26th in Los Angeles.
Came at a perfect time because Quintana had been dominating the Royals. And that was the start of a stretch where the final 9 batters that Quintana faced, 7 recorded base hits. Three and 1. Ball 4 to Infante. Let's go to Joel.
Fizz, thanks. The Royals will be looking for more production out of the 9th spot in the order here from Drew Butera. That would come at a good time in our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard. Gerard Dyson and Paulo Orlando leading the way in this series. They have had 6 hits batting 9th, but that production this year has included Raymond Fuentes, Drew Butera, Christian Colon, Whit Merrifield the other night. 2nd highest batting average in the big leagues by a team in the 9th spot, trailing only Boston at 300, and no Royals team has ever had an average that high for 1 full season. They could use another hit right now.
Butera goes after the first pitch, and he fouls it off the right side. And Drew, first time up, the Royals had 2 on. They sent the runners, and Butera shot one to the first baseman. Sands made the play, and if that ball got down the line, 2 runs may have scored. So he hit it sharply first time up facing Carlos. Down in the dirt, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
If you can lay off that slider down in the dirt and you're a right-handed hitter, it's going to give you something up in the zone that you can hit. Drew Doing a good job. Down in the count. 0-2s. Waiting for his pitch. You know, you swing at that one in the dirt, but the ones that are up in their borderlines better be hacking. Here it comes right here.
To center field, but right at the center fielder. Jackson barely has to move. He makes the catch. We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. The Royals lead by 1. Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit us at yourmidwestforddealers.com. We have been blessed with absolutely gorgeous weather in Chicago all 3 days. Friday night in the Royals 4-1 victory. Yesterday 2-1 KC won. Royals fans coming up to enjoy the sunshine and winning baseball. KC has won 5 of their last 6. Todd Frazier to lead things off. He has the only hit off of Ventura. Single to left field. Frazier singled on a breaking ball. Came right after him with a fastball. Just barely above the belt. Todd, as you know, excellent power. 12 home runs already with the Chicago White Sox. Was a Cincinnati Red last year and belted 35. To right field. Orlando at the fence. It's gone.
Oh, wouldn't you like to hit in this park all summer? He was off balance, almost one-handed. He just stuck his bat out there and caught it up in that wind, and it took it right out of here. Watch this. Put the ball where he wanted it. It's on the outer half. He just got under it. Lifted right over that. Ball stayed up. The higher it stayed up, the more wind caught it and pushed it out.
The White Sox have tied this game up at 1 on Frazier's 13th home run this year. Cabrera bounced into an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play his first time up.
This is the second home run Ventura's given up to a right-hander. 4 to left-handed bats.
Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one today, look forward to Miller Time later in the game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. To right field and well struck. Paulo will not reach this one. And Cabrera will stop at second base with a double.
Paulo Orlando really had to shift gears. He took off, got a good jump, and then he kicked it in another gear. Watch this. He just says, I got to get going faster. Just missed it.
So right now, Ventura getting hurt with poor location with his fastball. One up and away to Todd Frazier that he belted out to the opposite field, and now a 95-mile-an-hour heater that was up about thigh high to Melky Cabrera. Jerry Sands the batter. He takes inside, ball 1.
Like the way he came inside there on Sanchez. He's got to be able to use that fastball to help out those other pitches, but bust him in. Don't let him get comfortable up there on that heater.
Island is all about fastball command, particularly with Ventura. If he misses, he wants him to miss down. Sands with good power. To third. Moose holds the runner. 1 out. LAWRIE flied out to center field his first time up.
LAWRIE guessing fastball. Pulled the string on him.
Two. So he's gone off speed, back to fastball. I'm sure LAWRIE's scratching his head. What's coming now?
Well, he's got to protect, look for the fastball, but adjust to anything else.
Just a little high.
Look high to me. That's a good hit and pitch right there. That's just above the belt. That's what you want as a hitter. You want to pitch up there.
Got him to pop up left side. Room for Moustakas. 2 out. Sanchez, the batter. The White Sox now 0 for 15 with runners in scoring position in this series. 0 for 3 today. And there goes Sanchez to center field, and Kane will run it down near the warning track. A leadoff home run by FRAZIER, but BUTERA really buckles down after giving up a double to CABRERA. He gets the next 3 in order. Chicago with the power. The Royals with 5 singles in this ball game. We are tied at 1 in the final game of this series. Rodon will face Alcides Escobar to open the 5th, and he delivers strike 1. Esky flied out to right field. An excellent catch by Adam Eaton. Foul territory before slamming into the wall. 1 ball, 1 strike. And then he grounded out his last time up, so 0 for 2. He has 3 hits in this series.
Yeah, disciplining himself to lay off of that slider down. That's what he wants, to swing over the top of that and hit a little ground ball. Good for the cookie here.
Just barely foul. Esky thought it was going to go foul, kind of hesitated at home plate, and then took off running with the bat. And then the third base ump ruled it foul. Great pitch by Rodon there, and he strikes out Escobar. It's his 3rd strikeout. Adam Eaton leads the major leagues with plus 15 defensive runs saved. He's also thrown out 7 guys trying to advance on him. Our sprint trivia question: who is the last White Sox outfielder to win a Gold Glove award? What about Jermaine Dye?
I like that choice. Good guess.
I was very good with the Royals and then part of that World Championship team in 2005 here in Chicago. Inside.
Well, you know, one dog's here. Bass Johnson. Tim Raines is here.
Moose pops it up left side. Frazier shading his eyes from the sun and makes the catch for the second out.
Fizz, I got to give a shout out and congratulations on the graduation of Royals heads groundkeeper Trevor Vance's son, Tanner Vance and Hayden Wallace. They're all celebrating today watching Royals baseball at the K. A little shout out to you guys out there, man. Congratulations and way to go. Hope you bring us a win today.
Last 2 weekends, a lot of graduating in the heartland.
Yeah.
Party at your house, party at my house. Graduates.
Everybody's house.
Here's Lorenzo Cain. He's 1 for 2 with a single to right field. How about Aaron Rowan, center fielder? Base hit up the middle.
2 out knocks. See if they can get a little frenzy hitting going with 2.
Hosmer singled, scored the only Royals run back in the second, and Orlando knocked him in. And it gets away, and that will get Cain to second base. And now the Royals have a man in scoring position with 2 out.
I don't know how that ball got through Avila. As it bounced, let's see if it bounced. No, he just boxed it up there.
So pass ball charged to Alex Avila.
Might have been a strike had he caught it. See if Haas will go the opposite field, center field. Keep your shoulder closed. Good power that way.
He had a good rip there.
Sure did.
So 1-1 count.
Head came off of it just a tad.
Pulls it to the right side. Sands will take it. Rodon catches it with his bare hand to record the out. Royals turn back in the 5th. Royals and White Sox, and Fox Sports Kansas City is supporting the Paul Splittor Memorial Golf Classic on June 13th at Lakewood Oaks Golf Club. You can purchase sponsorships or golf foursomes to benefit the Wellness Center at St. Mary's Manor. Call 816-220-4228 or look for Split Golf on Facebook.
Eisenreich looks like he swings the golf club the same way he swung that bat. Very smooth.
Line drives all over the fairway.
Better believe it.
Alex Avila will lead things off here in the 5th.
Hey, now I'm no golf pro, but look, watch the head position right here. Okay, head position straight down. Nice take back all the way around with the club. He's going to get full extension, Fizz, especially with the head position staying on the ball.
You could just drive a stake through him, couldn't you?
That's right. It's all about balance. Very similar swings.
I know.
Except that ball on the tee is just sitting there. It's not even moving, and you still can't hit it. And this one here's moving at all kinds of velocity.
I have never understood why the word par means average. I think par should stand for stupendous, outstanding, brilliant, incredible.
It's a hard game.
It is. Avila in his 7th big league season. This is his first year with Chicago after a long-time starter with the Detroit Tigers. His dad is the general manager of that baseball team right now.
Now, you know, we showed Eisenreich with his golf club. Let's show him with the bat in his hand. Let's take a look at this. Look at him, upright stance, breaking ball. Oh, my. The big unit. Tried to throw a little slider on him. Look at that position. Look at the straight leg right there. Love that balance. Oops. Show me that follow through again real quick. Look at that. That's a slider. You don't see too many left-handed hitters taking the big unit deep, but see that leg? Look at that. In the perfect balance there in his swing. Eisen, you got him. Not too many left-handers took that slider out of the yard like that. Good shot, boys. Way to pull that up.
Avila takes ball 4. That's the 3rd walk issued by Ventura. Now Giordano wants to keep it down and maybe get a double play. As soon as he's done with Jackson, he'll turn the lineup over to Heath, Rollins, and Frazier. Takes a strike. Jackson walked his first time up.
Yeah, home plate umpire is hearing some chirping from the Royals, excuse me, from the White Sox dugout.
Well, they're a little unhappy the way they played. They've lost 6 of their last 7 and 8 of their last 10.
Put him in the lane right here. No double play action. Keep his pitch count down. Very nice and manageable.
Two balls, 2 strikes, and the Royals really need some length from Ventura today because they've asked their bullpen to go 8 2/3 innings in the first 2 games. Dave Island praising his bullpen. Of course, after the ball game last night, 8 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. Barely missed.
Just off.
And then a line single to left field. 2 on with nobody out.
L is elevated. Makes it easy for the hitter to put it in play. If he's down around the knees on the corners, you know, doesn't get hit, but that happens. He doesn't want to do that again here. So have a little bit of meeting on the mound. Talking about Eaton, he's a bunter. He likes to bunt with nobody out. But, you know, as quiet as the White Sox bats have been with runners in scoring position, you almost like to see him just swing away. Maybe find a gap or something.
He has hit into 5 double plays this year, even though he is a speed guy hitting from the left side. He hits the ball in the ground a lot. Did drop a sacrifice yesterday. He does swing away and lines it to center, and Kane will run it down nicely. No advance by Avila, who is halfway to third base.
Ah, see, so, you know, when the defense comes together and they start talking about it, then the hitter Eaton knows a fastball's coming because that's the toughest pitch to bunt, so he jumped right on it. And Lorenzo Kane, wow, he was on it like a cat. Nice play.
The Royals have defended very well throughout this series.
Now you roll up the double play.
White Sox 0 for 17 in this series with runners in scoring position. And 0 for 5 today. There's a strike on the outside corner. He's not missing by much.
Well, Rollins is up there eyeballing. He didn't look like he wants to swing.
Back in the count at 2-2. To go down and in with that one, and it wandered over the heart of the plate. To the right side, Infante has it. And the play will be first base. The runners do advance, but they get the second out, and here comes Frazier. So what do you do here?
Well, you know, you got first base open. Cabrera's on deck. Both hitters have got a couple of good hits off of Ventura. Now the home run, I'm not calling this a mistake. That ball was elevated, but it was off the plate. It wasn't down the middle, but he just went with it. You got to credit the hitter sometimes. That's a heck of an adjustment in the swing. He just threw the head of the bat out there.
Frazier 2 for 2 today with a single to left, a home run to right. But then you have the switch hitter Cabrera, who will be batting from the left side of the plate next. Ventura has not been that consistent with his command. He throws inside to Frazier, ball 1.
That's a good spot right there to him. Let him know. You know, if he's going to be looking out over the plate like that, like he did his last time up, you got to pitch him in there.
2 balls and no strikes. Tight 3-0. It appears they're pitching around Frazier. So that is 4 walks in the ball game. And Giordano will go to work against Melky Cabrera. Ventura was able to make a quality pitch to get Cabrera to hit into a 4-6-3 double play back in the first.
Yeah, thank you. Pitch up and away, tried to pull it right there, routine. Got him out of it.
Right down the middle, strike 1. Melky with a good eye. He has walked 18 times this year.
Heck, walking's not the issue. They've been doing way too much taking. They need to swing the bats because they're going to score any runs. And so now he's got him down 0-2. This is a good situation for Ventura now. Don't give him anything too good here. This guy's a lot more accomplished hitter than an 8-9 hitter. Runners out there all over the bases. See if you can get him to swing out of the strike zone.
A base hit to center field. Avila will score. Jackson will score. And the White Sox have their first lead of the afternoon at 3-1.
Now that was a mistake. Can't leave a hitter. 0-2, you had him. Just the wrong situation to throw a ball down the middle. Use that secondary pitch, a curveball or something, but instead you throw him a cookie. Not good.
Every time he's missed with his pitches, with his fastball, I should say, he's missed up. That's the first base hit with a runner in scoring position in this series by Chicago. Check swing. Did he go? No. Awfully close. He strikes out Jerry Sands, but the damage has been done. Melky Cabrera with a 2-out bases loaded single, and Chicago is up 3-1. Melky Cabrera with the big hit. And the 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Robert England from Hutchinson, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Robert will win $100. But if the Royals hit a grand slam, Robert will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Well, we gave away a winner yesterday, a guy named Chance Hines from Garden City, Kansas. Salvador Perez will lead things off. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, and we're now joined by Denny Matthews.
How you guys doing? All right? Any fights over here yet? You
No.
getting along okay?
I was doing fine until Giordano laid a 0-2 cookie down the middle. And that's kind of ruined my afternoon so far, but I'm going to get over it here quickly because we're going to come back on him.
I like it. I'm with you.
Salvi tried to check his swing, but went, and it's a 1-1 count.
I'm going to say the White Sox are about the most frustrated team in the big leagues, at least until Melky's hit. They were 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position before that hit. Boy, if that doesn't frustrate you, nothing will.
Yeah, Todd Frazier said after yesterday's game he still hasn't beaten the Kansas City Royals. He lost every game as a Cincinnati Red last year and then the first 2 games of this one. And he said right now the Royals are taking care of their business and we're not taking care of ours.
It's about as well said as you can say it. And it is unusual for a player being a streak like that. Teams, yeah. A player, pretty rare.
Perez stays alive. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And I know you and Ryan Lefebvre in the pregame show with Joe Goldberg, you talked about the strike zone, how there are some in Major League Baseball that want to shrink it to speed up the game, and wanted to get your thoughts during the game on that.
Yeah, I want to know how you're going to speed up the game by shrinking the strike zone. Now, you'll speed it up by enlarging it.
Yep.
To shrink it.
We're just calling a strike, knees to letters, and then if you can graze the black of the plate, you're a darn good pitcher.
Just put in the hitter's mind, the umpire's going to call strikes, and it's a little bigger strike zone. Hitters do not want to be down 0-1, 0-2, 1-2, so they're going to be aggressive early in the pitching sequence.
And put the ball in play.
And put it in play. And nothing happens in our game until the ball is between the white lines. Now, nothing happened right there, did it? The ball go into the fair territory there?
Not 1 inch.
Not a bit. Now, if you shrink the strike zone, that is going to add to what? Base on balls. What happens on a base on balls? Nothing happens, right? The ball is not in play. Get the ball in play. That's the essence of the game. That's how the game was designed.
I like it.
That's my Sunday sermon.
I like it.
I remember an old-time umpire saying, Denny, that when the batter would come to the plate, he'd say, "Young man, I missed the close ones, so you better be swinging."
I had a chance after the first game of the series to talk to Hunter Wendelstedt. And mainly it was about, hey, how are you? Because he took a couple of big shots off the chest, one off his heart, the other off his ribs. And I asked him if he would rather have the old days. That's a base hit. Good topspin lob. The old days, Denny, when they had that protector that they put their hands behind, it protected him more. And he says, yeah, we would love to use that today. There it is right there.
Yeah.
That's the old protector. See the umpire behind the screen there. See the protector. He's got that thing working and he holds it and protects him. And then here's where he got hit. Okay, he got hit there in the heart, and watch this rib shot. Oh, yeah. So he said, yeah, I'll take that big protector. I don't know what the name of that thing was there.
It was a big balloon they held on the outside. Now, because of that, the American League was known as a high ball league. They would call the high strikes, but because they had that big balloon, they couldn't see the lower strike as well. National League, there's a hit.
And Orlando stays hot. Gordon will be held at third base. It's a double for Paulo with 1 out.
How about the consistent hitting from Paulo Orlando? It's just amazing. He keeps going. Now there's a pitch pretty much close to the middle of the ballpark. But again, he's able to reach out there with great head position reach the outer part of the plate because of his long arms and keep that ball as it gets towards the catcher's glove. Okay, you hit it back. He made contact right back here. That's why he's able to go down to the right field line with the same pull swing, but he's able to control his swing so nicely right now.
And he is full of confidence. You can just see his body language as he comes to the plate. That is a confident hitter.
Infante's been on both times today, and he swings at the first pitch and sends it to right field. Gordon will tag Eaton with the catch, and Eaton will bring the throw home, but it's cut off, and Kansas City scores to pull within 1 of Chicago.
Nice job by Infante, looking for that first good pitch he can put in play. Got up underneath it, sac fly, 6th RBI on the season for him.
This has been a constant for the Royals for the last 2.5 years. The opponent scores. What happens? The Royals come right back and answer. Just happened a moment ago.
Yeah, but Drew's not done. Drew's going to try to sneak one through there if he can pick up Pollard.
Drew is grounded out and flied out. Danny Duffy was talking about how impressed he was with the offense yesterday, even though they scored only 2. But he said our identity is just grinding out at bats and do whatever it takes to get the lead to our bullpen.
And BUTERA's had 2 good at bats so far today. Now he's 0 for 2, but he's hit the ball hard, squared it up twice.
Denny, is there such thing as a lousy single?
No.
I had a gentleman write me and tell me that, because I like to use that term. All we need here.
Lousy single. What's the definition of lousy? That's what I want. Then we could answer that a little better.
Just a measly hit.
The Royals get a run, although Orlando was the spark. Break as we head to Target Field. After this ball game, our pitching matchups will be Ian Kennedy and then Ricky Nolasco in game 1, and then Volquez and then Dylan G. Nolasco, Santana, and Duffy will throw for the Twins, and boy, the Twins have been in dire straits all year long, Denny.
Yeah, we saw them first week of the season in Kansas City, and they did not look good, and it hasn't gotten much better.
And they did so much last year to grow, finishing 2nd to the Royals in the American League Central, but sometimes you say that could be a mirage.
It's amazing how many times a young team has a good year and their players are developing. Everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Oh boy, they were so good last year, wait till this year. Well, what happens is they regress. They take a step back, but then the following year, look out.
There's a shot in the left center field alley. And that bangs off the wall. Gordon plays it well, but into second base with a double is Brett Lawrie.
It's a breaking ball. He stayed with it. No chance to field that one. A ringing double.
How do you like the Sox uniforms? Those are old-timey uniforms. I'm going to say those are back, what, late 70s into the 80s?
83. Kickoff play, but getting back in time is Brett Lawrie.
I like it, Denny. He looked like a glorified softball uniform, but
A little bit.
I think the guys that show the Red Sox like Lawrie, like that. That's colorful. That ties it all in.
It's a unique look, isn't it? The horizontal, big, wide horizontal stripe across the chest.
Sanchez trying to bunt Lawrie to third base.
The Sox have not distinguished themselves in the series by moving their runners. That's an understatement. When you're 0 for 16 with runners in scoring position, you're not moving your runners anywhere. I have an eye for the obvious, don't I?
And there's a bunt. Only play first base. Sanchez is out. Moving to third is Brett Lawrie. So Carlos does get the sacrifice down. Fans don't miss out on Wichita State Day next Saturday when the Royals host the White Sox. The first 2,000 fans who bring their Wichita State themed ticket to the designated table will receive a limited edition gray, black, and gold branded KC cap, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. Purchase your theme ticket at Royals.com/theme tickets. And Denny, I really thought that Ventura was finding his command in the last start against Boston before he gave up a 3-run home run, but his command almost has regressed today against Chicago.
Yeah, he's been fighting walks all year. Most walks in the big leagues. So
4 today and 35 now in the big leagues.
what do you guys think of the bunt there in this situation with the score in that inning, leadoff double? Do you like the bunt or do you not like it?
Well, 0-2 bunt. This guy obviously sent the message, get the ball down. So Robin Ventura thinks it's important. I'm with it. I can go ahead and see a lot of one-run games, and try to give himself a high percentage of scoring the run.
I'm with you. Now they have to distort their infield defense. All 4 infielders have been pulled in, as you can see. Add 100 points to a hitter's batting average with the infield, all 4 of them in.
That's right. Opens up the percentage of scoring that run.
Now let's see. Alex Avila going into this game hitting .213. Add 100 points to his average. That's a .313 hitter at the plate.
And Alex, he needs to do something. The only thing he's impressed me with so far is he has a good eye and he can walk. But you don't have any speed. What good is that?
Out of play, so Ventura has an opportunity to get the big strikeout that he needs. That would allow the infield to back up with 2 out. They'll take on Austin Jackson next. Way outside, 3-2.
With 2 strikes on Avila here, 3-2 full count, you have to change your approach at the plate a little bit. You've got to be a little bit defensive. Just put it in play, because we've just been talking about the infield all the way, and just get the bat on the ball.
Yeah, and not looking for the walk.
He takes a called strike 3 on the outside corner. He'll debate it with Scott Berry, but that's a huge second out for Kansas City.
Can't debate anything. Swing the bat. Man, that's what he's up there for. That's why Ventura sacrificed him over. He will not score any points with that take right there with his management.
You saw it with the Missouri Lottery Fox tracks. It was strike 3.
Yeah, Vila, you got to go.
So that makes your sacrifice bunt totally useless.
Right, it just ruined it right there. 3-2. You gotta have, you gotta be hitterish. You gotta look to drive. You can hit balls 2 inches off the plate, in or out. It doesn't have to be one down the middle.
Austin Jackson's been on twice with a walk and a single. Ventura last time up had Jackson down 1 ball 2 strikes, and this is a guy who will strike out a lot, but then he missed badly with 2 pitches and then threw a 3-2 fastball right down the middle that Jackson lined to left. New coach Avery ready in the Royals bullpen if they need him. I'm sure Ned Yost is hoping that Luke can start the 7th. In the air, right field. Orlando chasing it and gets there. A terrific catch by Paulo Orlando. He is putting on a show here in Chicago.
Big pick me up, the strikeout, and now to follow Orlando tracking it to the wall.
Denny, thanks very much.
Over the performance, you tell him what he liked, you tell him what you didn't like in no uncertain terms. It's a man-to-man conversation right now. If you can't take criticism at this point, well, you probably don't have any business wearing that uniform.
Giordano, he accepts all advice well. Dave Island told me he's willing to learn. That's the right attitude to have, because you won't learn if you're blocking people off. You know it all. It's just not the attitude to have up here.
Got to be coachable.
Yes.
And the mistakes have been made with his excellent fastball, and it's just location. So Escobar will lead things off here in the 7th inning, followed by Mike Moustakas and then Lorenzo Cain. Royals playing good baseball. They have won 5 of their last 6 and 7 of their last 10. Now taking on Rodon, who's nearing that 100 pitch mark. Sox have both a right-hander and a left-hander warming in their pen. To the right side. Sands will make the play. 1 out. Earlier this afternoon, we asked the Sprint trivia question, and it was about outfielders in Chicago. Adam Eaton playing very well to start the 2016 season. Who is the last White Sox outfielder to win a Gold Glove award?
Jim Pearsall. No, he was a broadcaster, but he was a great center fielder during his days at Cleveland and Boston.
How about Ken Berry?
Well, he was a great outfielder as well. Pride of Topeka, Kansas. I went with Aaron Rowan.
Jim Landis.
Jim Landis.
How about Jermaine Dye?
Right field.
Ken Berry.
Believe it, huh? That's right.
Wow, you got to go all the way back to 1970. Moustakas with a line shot that Sands leaps high and makes the catch. With Lorenzo Cain coming up, Robin Ventura will make a pitching change. It's our Chevy call to the bullpen with the White Sox leading by 1. Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Visit us for great prices on the all-new 2016 Malibu. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 Kansas City metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price every day. Here in Chicago, Illinois, the Royals going for the sweep. They won the first 2 games by scores of 4-1 and 2-1. They trailed by only 1, and Matt Albers called on to face the right-hander Lorenzo Cain. Cain was 2 for 3 off Rodon. And Matt throws inside ball 1. Lorenzo with 5 hits in this series, including the home run yesterday. Ball 1 strike.
Albers is sinker baller. Low to mid-90s, slider and a changeup.
Matt is solidly built.
That he is. One ball, 2 strikes. But he's been good for Chicago, Denny. He made his 14th scoreless appearance of the season and his first since May 9th, yesterday. They haven't had a chance to use him because he's been in a setup role, but the White Sox have been behind so much this week to Houston and now Kansas City. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. And that will be the inning. So Alvarez does a nice job. And Denny Matthews, thank you very much for joining us.
It's been a pleasure. You guys carry on.
I'll buy your dinner on the plane.
You promise.
Where the Royals trail the White Sox 3-2, our premier Mazda game break. What a job by the bullpen yesterday, including veteran Peter Moylan, the right-hander out of Australia, with his third game as a Royal, 1 2/3 scoreless. Now, if you look at Moylan's career stats, he was in the minor leagues in '97 and then nothing until 2006. He was out of baseball, went back home to Australia with a lot of jobs.
I'll do the quick version. Got released in 1997, went back home to Australia, did everything from pool plumbing to concreting, installing glass splashbacks, selling security, selling pest control, selling upholstery fabric, selling lift chairs. Eventually landed a job as a pharmaceutical rep. And my boss just so happened to be the president of the Australian Baseball Federation, so when I made the team for the World Baseball Classic, I was able to call him and say, hey, listen, you might need to find another sales rep because the Braves want me to sign with them. And here I am.
Here I am, and when he resurfaced, he was throwing in the 90s. They found him, and it has been a very good career. A very fun and outgoing guy. Calls his personality unique. And by the way, Biz, he said everybody tries to imitate the Australian accent, and everybody does it poorly, so don't.
I won't. But what was the line he gave you that you accurately described?
He said to try the word razor blades, but something like, you know, this was a few hours ago, you have to say it like rise up blides.
There you go.
Wow.
And I'm
very
done.
good.
Way to go, Joe.
Joe will be back after the ball game to entertain us again.
Hopefully wearing a Salvi splash.
Exactly. Luke Hocheber will try and keep the Chicago offense quiet. Eaton bunts, foul, strike one. Nice catch by a fan below us.
Sounded like it was a catch.
What does a catch sound like?
When the crowd roars, it's not because somebody missed.
Eaton 0 for 3 today. He has an 8-game hit streak on the line. Just 2 for 12 against Kansas City pitching in this series.
Nice job on him.
on the line foul. A quality start for Yordano Ventura. This is the third straight game he has kept his club in it or won it. He won the last two and kept his team in this game. Back up the middle, so his hit streak is now at 9 straight games. Join us for Family Fun Day Sundays at the K, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Now, before the game, you can enjoy face painters and kids entertainment in the outfield experience and pregame player autographs at Signature Sundays on top of the Royals dugout. After the final out, kids 14 and under can run around the bases like a big leaguer, like Ryan Lefebvre in the Skippy Fun Run. Get your tickets at Royals.com/Sunday. So Rhino's having fun with the Family Fun Day Sunday. So we're on radio side working with Denny this afternoon.
Hey, Rhino, hold up your new T-shirt.
Jimmy Rollins, the batter, 0 for 2 with a walk. And Hoach just freezing on that mound with Eaton bluffing to go. He is only 4 for 5 stealing bases this year. BUTERA, the backup to Salvador Perez, but has an excellent arm. And Hoach chases him back.
Hoach got that good cut fastball, four-seamer up top. He'll use it around 95. So big overhand curve.
Oh, and 2. Does not go, and the pitch is wide of the mark. Hoach was not available yesterday after pitching in 5 of the previous 7 games. Barely misses inside.
Could have been a strike, no doubt. Coach would like to put Rollins in the lane here.
Eaton goes, pitch is swung on and missed, throw by BUTERA, not in time.
He's got to go back, interference. Hit him on the backswing. So it's good practice. BUTERA took him some time to throw that ball. I was wondering why, and the backswing got it. Watch this. nice job outside of the fact he got hit in the head with a baseball bat. That might throw you off a little bit. Still had a close throw.
I know I couldn't believe the accuracy he had with that throw after getting conked in the head. So a break for the Royals. Now maybe Frazier can hit it on the ground and the Royals can turn 2. Todd Frazier had our Dodge drive of the game earlier. In the bottom of the 4th inning, the leadoff batter. Really carrying well to right field today.
Better believe it is. He had a good, nice, easy swing. Caught the ball just right.
1 ball, 1 strike. Todd has been on all 3 times, a single, a home run, and a walk.
Frazier, you know, he has an idea they're not going to try to beat him inside. Although the way he's looked, he looks like he's behind fastballs in the series. Be careful with any soft stuff out over the middle. He'll speed his bat up.
BUTERA tried to get him on a curveball his first time up and he hooked it into left field. Good running count for Eaton. Hochevar throwing over.
Also keeps him out of the double play if he sends it. Frazier's hitting the 2.
He does not go, and now the pitch misses. It's a 3-1 count. Eaton goes. Pitch is swung on. Hit high in the air left side. Gordon races over, but he'll run out of room. It's about 4 rows up. Well, if they ran on 3-1, I'm sure they'll run on 3-2. Frazier has struck out 34 times this year. And Hochevar certainly a strikeout pitcher with 23 in less than 19 innings this year. 24. Check that because he struck out Jimmy Rollins in this 7th. Eaton goes again. The pitch is swung on. Popped up. Foul territory. Hosmer will make the play. A look to first, but Eaton scurried back. Melky Cabrera had that big hit back in the 5th inning. The game was tied. The bases were loaded. He singled sharply to center. Eaton goes. Here's the throw. It skips and it gets by Escobar. Eaton steals second base. Man, he went blasting into the bag.
He's really gotten a little exercise here in this inning. We're at first base running. That's third or fourth time he's taken off. Drew just pulled the throw. I mean, you would have had to put that ball right on the bag to get him. Not going to happen. He's timing Hochevar. Hoch with a nice inside move there. Had Eaton taken off it and had it.
Yeah, I don't think Eaton's going to try and steal with 2 out. He's trying to get into Hochevar's mind. And MELKY CABRERA hits it high in the air, left side. Moustakas and Gordon, and man, did they collide. And Gordon, I hope he's all right as he bangs into that tarpaulin. He did not hold on to the baseball. But right now, you only just worry about Gordo.
Well, I liked Moose, his effort. He took off, put his head down, and ran right to the position, right to the spot he thought the ball was coming down. One heck of an effort there.
Look at Hochevar, the pitcher, running all the way out to make sure his good friend is all right. Nick Kenny wants to make sure, our head athletic trainer.
Yeah, they tripped up each other is what happened. There wasn't a physical collision, so to speak, with their shoulders or anything. It looks like it's all leg oriented.
But he banged his back and the back of his head against that tarpaulin down that left field line. At first I thought Gordo held onto it, but when we took that shot, the ball was right by his side.
Like a knee-on-knee collision.
Rex, you played both infield and outfield. This ballpark on a Sunday afternoon is full. How difficult is it to hear a guy yelling, "I got it, I got it"?
Especially as the ball comes down closer to making the catch, the crowd gets into it. And it is hard, but you know, Alex somehow, some way has to let Moose to get off of that. But when both guys are going full speed, it's tough. And from the looks of it here, fortunately, both guys are okay and staying in the game. Charlie Horse.
Look how quickly Hochevar got there. Well, we're just thankful that everybody's all right. Gordon is a fantastic defender, a 4-time Gold Glover. Right now, Royals have to get Cabrera out. The count is 1 ball, 1 strike. One and 2.
It's important to try to catch any ball. It's foul territory. That was a great effort, those guys, especially when you got a hitter like MELKY up there. You don't want to give him an extra swing if you can help him. It's a good try. Maybe Hochevar can get the out for him.
Chicago does have a very good bullpen, and Zach Duke has been warming down in the Chicago bullpen for the left-handers, Hosmer. And then he'll face a right-hander in PEREZ, and then he'll face the lefty and Alex after that. And their bullpen is just a tick below statistically Kansas City's, who has the second lowest bullpen ERA in the American League at 2.55, and the Sox at 2.59. To the right side, Infante. Excellent job by Hochevar. And thankful that Gordo and Moose are all right. Here in the top of the 8th inning, Kansas City will be batting, and our Panera Bread around the league. Detroit beat Tampa Bay. Cleveland losing right now in the 7th to Boston, and Minnesota trailing Toronto 3-1. The Twins are 11-31 and might be 11-32 as we'll head their way after this game.
Won't be any sympathy cards or flowers sent to Molitor, I guarantee you, before our arrival. And hopefully the Royals can come back and get this one, sweep their way on into Minnesota.
Here is Zach Duke facing Eric Hosmer. Ball 1. Haas today singled off the lefty Rodon. He's also struck out and grounded out.
Duke 88-92, sinking fastball, slider, changeup. 6'2", 210, not overpowering. Ooh. Haas with a nice rip. I'd like to see a Royal get one in the air, just like the White Sox Frazier did. Just get one up there, see if the wind will help blow it out.
Hosmer has hit 3 home runs this year against left-handers, 3 of his 8. Popped it up. Foul territory. Frazier calls off the catcher Avila and makes the catch for the first out. There is Rhino, and there he goes. There's the Skippy fun run.
Hey, he got his own personalized t-shirt. Yeah. Thank you, Sammy.
Sam Melangelo, one of the greatest video operators in the game. Well, here is Ventura. He's going to have Duke throw to one batter, and then he'll bring on the right-hander to face Sal Perez. Right now, Ventura has not made that decision. He's had that right-hander warming in the bullpen most of this inning. Right now, that right-hander just standing there waiting, and now he has made the decision. I thought he was going to get a couple more throws in. Now Nate Jones gets one final toss, and here he comes. This time he doesn't fall down the steps. Royals trail by 1. Salvador Perez digs in, and he is facing the right-hander Nate Jones. Hard throwing right-hander. Fastball 95 and above. Perez singled his first time up, so his hit streak is now at 8 consecutive games. He has 4 hits in this series, and Jones A very sharp 2.12 ERA, 15 strikeouts in 17 innings. Right-handers only batting .108.
Works slider in as well. Slider, he's got a changeup.
Salvador Perez is using Alex Gordon's bat. Gordon went down the tunnel with a bat, but Whit Merrifield is in the on-deck circle. Foul. Sal has used both Kendrys Morales' bat and now Gordon's bat, and Morales' bat had a hit in it. There's Merrifield. Royals still have available Kendrys Morales off the bench. Shot down the line, foul.
Salvi out in front of that. He took something off of his fastball, or that was a slider. Could have been a cutter. That's his little cutter.
I don't think he'll throw that one again. And then Sal swings and misses. Well, Alex Gordon, we told you, obviously hurt himself enough on this collision with Mike Moustakas that he cannot bat here. He did finish the inning. Banged his head against the tarpaulin.
Sure did, and you know, landed on his elbow too. Couldn't hold on to the ball. Looks like he's all right. Looks like he got a little road rash on his elbow. Yeah, elbow all torn up.
So Jones versus Merrifield. And the rookie goes after the first pitch, a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, strike one. Witt did have 5 home runs at AAA Omaha. Down in the count 0-2. Back. Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the Kansas City metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack. And Jones strikes out Witt. The Royals head to the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing the White Sox 3-2. Brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. Ready for a great deal on a Ford? Then it's time to go to Thoroughbred Ford. Here in Chicago, Illinois, beautiful day to be out on the lake or at the ballpark at U.S. Cellular Field, where the Royals will try and come back on the Sox. Whit Merrifield takes over in left field as Gordon was taken out. He's still angry at himself for swinging and missing at that last Nate Jones fastball, but boy, he was bringing it 98, 99 miles an hour. And now another guy who has a firm fastball checks in, Kelvin Herrera.
Slightly above average fastball. Sarcasm right there. He's got one of the best. And then sliders have been a nice complimentary pitch to him this year, along with the changeup. 3 excellent pitches. No wonder they're not hardly sniffing anything on this guy.
0.84 ERA.
That's right.
Escobar. 1 out.
Get him down 1, 2, 3. Bust their closer, Robertson.
Royals will have the bottom of the order coming up in the 9th. Orlando, Infante, BUTERA, and remember, they still have Kendrys Morales and Jarrod Dyson available.
A couple nice weapons off the bench.
Brett LAWRIE doubled his last time up, but was left stranded at third. Sanchez sacrificed him to third, but Avila struck out looking. And then Austin Jackson flied to right, and Orlando made a terrific catch, banging into the fence in deep right field. Tight. Well, the Royals and LAWRIE do have a bit of a history, with LAWRIE injuring Alcides Escobar in the play at second base, and Herrera came to his defense at that time. Another inside pitch. LAWRIE had been 1 for 21 before that double. He was trying to hit it to downtown.
He's got 2 chances to hit that, slim and none. He keeps swinging like that. He might just have earned himself another one. Another high fastball above the belt.
Wow. Made quick work of Brett LAWRIE. Fans, the DVD Blu-ray combo pack Royalty Reigns is a comprehensive look back at the great 2015 Royals. It details how a champion was built, from the backstory of how the club was assembled through the vision of general manager Dayton Moore and the support of ownership to key moments during the regular and postseason. Royalty Reigns will recall everything that made the 2015 Royals a club worth remembering. The Royalty Reigns combo pack is now available at retail locations throughout Kansas City and on MLB.com shop. Foul ball by Carlos Sanchez. Sox closer Dave Robertson now warming in their pen. Well, he took a mighty rip but missed. 0-2. He struck him out. I mean, he just went fastball, 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 challenged him. Orlando will lead things off for Kansas City when we open the top of the ninth.
Paulo Orlando staying firecracker hot. 2 more hits today. That plate in 1. Royal. Good swing up the middle. And you know what? He's got that stroke working. His swing is perfect. We did it. We chronicled his swing earlier. And also defensively, saved a run there. Maybe 2. That's right. Paulo Orlando playing at a high caliber. Hope it continues. Especially here in this inning. He's going to get another shot at Robertson.
He is 12 for his last 21, facing one of the top relievers in baseball, Dave Robertson, who has a 1.08 ERA. That's 8th lowest in the American League. Tied for 9th in saves with 10.
Well, he got 6 walks too. Now look, if they can find a way to get a runner on, it's going to be a good thing, especially Paulo here. They got Dyson in there to run if they need him. And you mentioned it, Morales for a little slugging action to come in. Robertson has blown 2 saves this year. He's got an 88 to 95 mile-an-hour fastball, curveball, and occasional changeups.
Well, he went aggressively after the first pitch, much like he has throughout this series, and fouls it back.
Wow, that fastball straight as a string. Glad to see him jump on that.
There's a drive left field, but Melky Cabrera, shading his eyes, will make the catch.
For a minute I thought he might have barreled that, just maybe a half an inch. This curveball, they just hit down on the end of the bat.
Omar Infante started Friday's rally. Why not now in the 9th inning? 1 out, double on Friday. And he swings at the first pitch and pops it up. Cabrera. 2 out. A reminder, Boulevard Royals Live will be following this ball game, but hopefully it will be delayed because this man will go deep. We'll see. Andres Morales pinch hitting for Drew Butera.
Do you have a pinch hit dial-in 8 call on Morales?
Yes, I do.
All right, I'm with you. I'm doubling up with you. All or nothing to keep this game alive.
He has never gotten a hit against Robertson and has struck out 6 times, which tells me he is due. Ned Yost said he was just giving Kendris more of a mental break today than a physical break. But this is a guy, a professional hitter.
Previous 2 hitters all swung at the first pitch. I'm with him. Jump it.
Strike 1.
And he put a little wrinkle on that one.
The ball has been carrying well to right field. And Ventura is walking out. You know, with the knowledge of, is everything all right with Dave?
Robertson could be having some kind of issues there.
He just threw an excellent strike.
Oh, well, wouldn't be going out there if there's anything else going on, but maybe it was Avila that spotted it. See after the pitch what happens here. Okay, now he throws the pitch and kind of shaking his arm a little bit. Took a step off the back of the rubber. Still looking in the dugout with his arm. And I guess he's all right. Okay, Morales has it in him. He's got 3 pinch hit home runs in his career.
He had a pretty special home run last Sunday in the 13th inning to beat Atlanta.
Wonder if he'll give him anything straight. Here comes one here.
At the breaking ball. Morales really fooled and now down 1 ball, 2 strikes. That time he recognized it early as it bounced in front of home plate. It's the waste pitch. 0-2-2 count. Kendris can reach. Dyson could pinch run.
He doesn't want to get hurt by a long ball. He's not giving anything up in the zone with any fastballs. I can tell you that. Probably stay with a breaking ball again.
Kendris went. Game over. The White Sox needed 4 pitchers the last 2 1/3 innings, but they got the job done, beating the Royals 3-2.